and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hi, my name's Shivani and I make videos on things like medicine, fashion and lifestyle and traveling as well. And if you're not new here, then thank you so much for coming back and I hope that you guys are enjoying the content. The background of this video may give you a clue as to what this video is about. And yes, I'm coming to you with another travel vlog. Recently, I went to Iceland for 5 days. And I vlogged the whole trip and I'm going to show you what we got up to. It was a really good experience. I do recommend it for anyone who, enjoys maybe a cold holiday and nature and things like that. It was beautiful, the landscape was stunning, and it was definitely one of those ones to tick off the bucket list. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Before we get into it though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up at the end and leave a comment if you want to.
We flew from Luton Airport, and once we got there, we got a 40-minute coach to Reykjavik. We visited this church firstly because it was nearby. It was really stunning, and we went inside also to take a look. After that, we checked into our apartment. This is just a very short apartment tour. It was really nice, really clean, really good facilities, and enough space for the three of us also. After that, we thought that we'd go for a walk around the local area just to check out what was there. We're in Iceland! How are you finding it so far?
Not too cold. Not too cold.
Yeah, surprisingly it hasn't been actually as cold as we thought. We have just eaten some lunch. We got some Mexican food and now we're on our way to, what's the museum called? Aurora. We're on our way to the Aurora Museum, and then later on we've got a Northern Lights tour. Yeah, Northern Lights tour, so hopefully we'll get to see them. So yeah. We stayed in the centre of Reykjavik, so luckily there are a lot of shops and things nearby and restaurants. We then made our way to this Aurora Museum. They gave a lot of information about the Northern Lights and a lot of stuff that I didn't know. For example, normally you can't actually see the Northern Lights with your own eyes because your rods and cones don't sort of pick it up. However, your cameras pick it up a lot better. Then we stopped off in a local supermarket and stocked up on some snacks, and we got lunches for the next day. In Iceland, they had these things that were kind of like a yogurt, but it was actually a cheese. They were made from skimmed milk and they had them in loads of different flavors. They had no fat, but full of protein, and they were really tasty. So we got them like every day. Also, fridges in the Iceland supermarkets are walk-in fridges, so I thought that was quite interesting. And then we just went for a walk around again, just around the streets, and we walked back towards our apartment. We stopped in a couple of souvenir shops. We found this place online and thought it would be like donuts with toppings on. However, it did not taste good. That's my personal opinion, so wouldn't recommend. After dinner was our Northern Lights tour. So we were picked up by a coach, made our way to the destination. Now, as I said before, you can't actually see the Northern Lights very clearly with your eyes, but this is what a picture picked up on that particular night. But even though it was cold, we got some really tasty hot chocolate. On day 2, we did the Golden Circle tour. The landscape was really beautiful and we got some really good pictures as well. Something cool about this is the tectonic plates have essentially drifted, so you could walk in between the tectonic plates. This stop was one of the highlights of the trip. So we went to a glacier and honestly, it was just stunning. You could see for miles. It basically looked like it was out of a movie, and we snowmobiled on top of this glacier, which was amazing. The last stop of the day was this waterfall. It had gotten really cold by this point because it was mid-afternoon. We took some pictures and then we made our way back to Reykjavik. For dinner, we found a local fish and chip place. It was so good. The fish was like so soft but crispy on the outside. It was great and affordable. And then we made our way back to the apartment. Since it'd been a really long day and we were already tired from yesterday, I couldn't wait to take my shoes off, get in the shower, and then get into bed. I started the day with one of these, strawberry cheesecake flavoured. It was very nice. And today's tour was exploring the south. On the journey, there was lots of really nice scenic points, lots of very nice landscapes as well. We saw a glacier and we also went to Black Sand Beach on this day. Hello everyone, we're on Black Sand Beach. Woo! It's mad. The waves here are actually crazy. Wait, let me try and show you. Okay, they're not coming right now, but they do get really high. As high as, what did you say, 9 meters or something? That one. Yeah. And apparently, at least one tourist per year dies here because they get swept up by the waves. Anyway, yeah, this beach is actually quite vibey. I'm liking it. I kept hearing American tourists on the trip talk about chocolate milk, so I went and got myself some. In the afternoon, we stopped off at several waterfalls. The second waterfall we saw was one that was really cool. You could walk behind it, so that was definitely an experience. When we came back to Reykjavik, we got some pizza for dinner, and then we headed out for a second Northern Lights tour, hoping to see something a bit better than on the first night, and we did. The last day was a more chill and relaxed one. In the morning, we went around a bunch of souvenir shops nearby to our apartment, and we got some gifts for family and friends and ourselves. I'll talk about it more later, but the shops in Iceland are pretty expensive compared to other places, so this is definitely something you have to consider if you're visiting here. They had a flying tiger store in Iceland as well. It was cool. It didn't really have much Iceland specific stuff, but I did spot these unicorn slippers, which I really wanted, but they didn't have my size. And then for lunch, we went to a place called 101 Reykjavik Street Food. Highly recommend. We got seafood soup and the Icelandic lamb stew, and they were both really, really tasty and affordable. And then in the afternoon, we went to the infamous Blue Lagoon. This was a surreal experience. It was honestly so nice. It was so bright as well. The sun was just constantly in my eyes, but it was really cool. We were in here for hours. You could get a face mask. It was really relaxing and a really, really nice experience, and one to tick off the bucket list as well. And then in the evening, we went to the Vietnamese restaurant we went to on the first night and got some dinner. Our flight was a early morning one, so we were at the airport at around 6, and then we had a wander through duty free before heading to our boarding gate.
And that's basically my Iceland trip in summary for the 4 days that we went. Just a few tips which I don't think I mentioned in the video. Basically, everything in Iceland is quite expensive in terms of, you know, general things like food, restaurants. Drinks are actually surprisingly okay. Like a coffee is around £4 or £5, which is similar to the UK, right? But food is definitely way more expensive than you think, like at least £20-25 per person per meal. And it's not necessarily like a big meal either, or like a fancy thing. So for example, there was like a fish and chips place that was around £25-30, and that was quite standard. But having said that, there are lots of places that you can go to that are, you know, cheaper and within reason, so around say £15 per person for fish and chips, which is the place we found, and there's a lot of street food and things like that, so obviously that's cheaper. So what I would recommend is, instead of eating out every day, because that is gonna, you know, pile up in terms of the dollar, then to go to a supermarket and buy your own sort of lunches. If you're going on excursions or tours or doing your own thing and you're driving, etc., then just go and like buy yourself a sandwich, some snacks, some fruit, whatever you want really. And it does work out a lot cheaper, because you do end up spending quite a bit on things that you need, like food. We didn't hire a car because, well, I can't drive, but also my sister and brother-in-law, they didn't want to drive either. So we just went on an excursion. So it basically was, you went to a pickup point, you walk to a pickup point, and then you get on a coach, and then they kind of take you everywhere, give you a bit of a tour, etc., which I actually enjoyed, because it took the stress out of like traveling and finding your own way there, because they do it for you. But I know people, my cousin went to Iceland and he hired a car, and so did my friend, I think, as well, and they really liked it. So it just depends what you want really out of it. But the excursions I do recommend. The total spend per person for this trip, including accommodation, flights and food, was I think around 700-800 per person, which is pretty reasonable considering it's Iceland, and it is a more expensive kind of trip just because the excursions and the things that you want to do, like the Blue Lagoon and all that kind of stuff, is more expensive. It's around £70-80 per person, I think, for the Blue Lagoon experience. So if you are considering going, do consider the fact that it is going to be more pricey than if you were going, you know, somewhere in Europe or even somewhere else. So yeah, but I think if you spend wisely and you know what you want, then that really helps. But yeah, so that was basically my summary of Iceland. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And until next time, see ya.